Hi, everybody. Tom Van Hoy with this edition of the Pitt State Softball Insider Show with head coach Elizabeth Economon. Pitt State battled the elements last weekend to get any games in. Scheduled to play 4 at Missouri Southern at Joplin with Wayne State, William Jewell, Truman, and Missouri St. Louis. Doubleheader Saturday and Sunday, but that tournament canceled. Pitt State, though, able to play 3 at home, 2 on Friday. Wins over Wayne State 7-5 in 8 innings, and Sioux Falls 14-2-5. Then one game on Saturday, Sioux Falls again, this time a 5-1 Pitt State win. The Gorillas are now 9-4. Against Wayne State, Samantha Grove, complete game, got the win. She's 5-0. Pitt State, 12 hits, 3 by leadoff hitter Brenna George. She stole a base as well, her 61st. That's a Pitt State record. The Gorillas had 5 players with multi hits in this game. Game 2 is Sioux Falls. It was all Pitt State, 16 hits. George with 4 more. Tiffany Brown, 2 home runs, 5 RBI. Kelly Guthier, 3 for 3, a home run, and drove in 3. Haley Sills got the win. She allowed just 2 runs. Then Saturday, Pitt State handled Sioux Falls again 5-1. Grove another strong pitching performance. And Nicole Neese led a 10-hit attack with 3 hits. Brown and Cheslin Mitchell had 2 RBI. Pitt State scheduled to play 2 games on Saturday in Joplin against Missouri Southern, but because of the weather and field conditions, the timing of that could change. Here's Pitt State softball coach Elizabeth Economon on battling the weather and the play of her team last weekend.
Yes, it was nice to go 3-0, but it was with the tournament canceled. We had a couple teams, 3 teams that were willing to take the risk and drive down, and we told them our field was dry and we'd do our best to get it ready. So Wayne State, Sioux Falls, and Northwest Missouri said we're willing to take that chance, and came down and it worked out for us.
Yeah, how was it eventually in terms of the weather and also field conditions?
You know, on Friday we had to be a little patient, let the rain move through, but we had our fields tarped, and the outfield could hold water for days at that point. So once we got the rain out of the way, Friday was beautiful. Now Saturday was a little chilly but dry, so field conditions weren't a factor, thankfully, just the weather. But it really worked out well. So we're happy to have gotten 3 games in.
Do you ever talk about the conditions with the players, because both teams are in the same boat, so to speak, if you're not rowing, I guess. Right.
It's easy to complain. It's easy to make excuses, and we don't harp on a lot of that stuff too much, but we talk to our kids about, it's an equal playing field. Everybody's out here in the same stuff, so you can either use it as an excuse or you can ignore it and play the game and get the wins.
Well, you got the win against Wayne State 7-5 in 8 innings in the first game that you played, and you got a couple of runs in the first inning, and eventually trailed 5-4, got it tied. So kind of a back-and-forth game, but then able to go extra innings and get a good win in Game 1.
Yeah, it was a back-and-forth game. It was nice in all of our games. Over the weekend, we scored first. We were able to jump out early, which really helps the pitching staff and get some momentum for the offense. But, yeah, we went back and forth a little bit. Their pitcher was tough, but we were able to coax quite a few walks out of her, which ended up being a big factor in scoring those last 2 runs in the 8th. So it was nice to see our kids be persistent throughout the entire duration of the game, knowing that Wayne State's a good team, and it's always nice to play the teams from the Northern Sun. They have a great conference, and the pitching staff for Wayne State is pretty good, and I think they'll do well in their conference this year. So to hang with them and then to push ahead it showed some strength from our kids. It was nice to see.
Also nice when you get 12 hits and you have 5 players with multi-hit games for you.
Yeah, we're starting to hit the ball better as an entire offense, which is nice. We were previously relying on just a couple kids, so some of our other hitters in the lineup are starting to help out, which makes it's even more contagious when you see the person in front of you hit the ball hard. Makes you want to get up there and do that same thing. So being able to pick up 12 hits and score 7 runs it makes our pitching staff happy.
Yeah, the top of your order, 1 through 5, had 11 of those hits, 7 runs, and 5 RBI. So I guess the tone was set pretty early for the top part of your order in this one.
Yeah, they jumped right out and did their job immediately, and to score 2 runs in the top of the first, and mind you, we were at home, and we were still managed to be the visiting team all 3 games. I didn't do a very good job on my end winning the flip, so we were in an odd position to get out and hit in the top of the first at our own place. So to be able to put up 2 runs early on a team which we were prepared to battle with back and forth, set the tone, and then to be able to put up a run in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and just keep going and going and going, which is one of the things we talk about a lot. Don't settle. Don't stop. Just you're going to score, and then you're going to keep putting the pressure on throughout the course of the game.
Did you have to change dugouts or not?
No, that was one agreement we made. We got to use our own dugout. So
well, that's good. Cause sometimes, it's a kind of a weird deal, isn't it? You get so used to one dugout, and then sometimes you'll have to change for whatever reason. Maybe it seemed like a little thing, but it is kind of an interesting situation sometimes.
I'm sure it would have thrown our girls for a loop. So we did get to stay in there, which is good. I mean, we have our all of our bags and bats and helmets and bulletin boards and et cetera, et cetera. So we were happy to be in that part, but it was definitely different to be hitting first.
Well, Samantha Grove gets that win for you, and she had a couple of wins and ends up as the pitcher of the week. So how did she perform for you?
Yeah, we're really proud of Sam. She's really stepped into this role very nicely. I know last time we talked about our pitching staff being a win by committee, and of course we want all of our 4 pitchers to be able to go 7 full innings. And Sam really stepped up and did that this past week. She was able to throw a lot of innings and ended up getting that award. I was really proud of her during the Wayne State game because it was back and forth, and in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th innings, she got put a few base runners on, got hit a little bit, and they were able to score 5 runs. But then she came back in the last 4 innings and just completely shut them down. So it was good to see that in the middle of a game where it's really easy to just give in and say, well, I'll try better next time. But she cut that offense off in the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th and really shut them down and set a tone. It was great.
I sometimes think the perception with softball is that if you have a dominant pitcher, they're going to strike out everybody. But in many cases, that's not the case, is it?
Oh, no. We talked to our defense about that a lot. We're not a strikeout staff. We're going to get a lot of ground balls, and therefore we need to play good defense, solid behind all 4 of our pitchers. It's rare at this point that pitchers will completely dominate and strike out 12 to 20 hitters in a game. Now, it does happen every once in a while, but it's not an everyday occurrence. So, and we talked to our defense about that a lot. Sam and Haley and Tiffany and Kylie are going to do their job and force their offense to hit their pitch and put it on the ground or pop them up. And so we're going to have to do our job behind them and make the outs count.
Are there some pitchers in the league that can be that dominant?
There are a couple. Missouri Western's got a senior who's just had an excellent career, and she's known as a strikeout pitcher. She'll get you up, double-digit strikeouts periodically. A lot of the other pitching staffs are relatively new, so I'm not sure yet what to expect from there. But the UCO pitcher, she's a returning player from the national championship team last year, and she's not a huge strikeout pitcher either. She gets the ball in play, gets it on the ground, and they play defense behind her. So there are a couple here and there. Thankfully, Maddie Hollub from Fort Hays graduated because she was definitely that kind of pitcher. She could strike you out all day. So we're glad to see her gone. She had a great career, and good for her. But not the majority are more put the ball in play, get outs. The minority are strikeout pitchers.
I mean, it is interesting how many innings that one pitcher can throw. Do you take that into consideration? I mean, is it because of you're not throwing over the top, obviously, but is there any kind of limit to a certain extent, or it's just a resilient effort, I guess? Yeah,
we don't worry about pitch counts really, and it's very different from baseball where Sam could have pitched this Wayne State game and come back immediately and pitch the next game, and we don't do that a whole lot early in the season because we're still getting in shape. As the season progresses, we'll go with the hot hand, and we pay attention to the signs of the girl. If they're looking a little sore or they've got something's bothering them, we'll take that into account, obviously, but we won't overdo it. But certainly, if they're healthy and they're ready to go, nothing's going to stop them.
Well, you got the win in Game 1 on Friday, 7-5 and 8 over Wayne State, and probably as a coach, you liked the second game, right? Better?
Oh, yeah, that was
14-2 and 5.
That was a lot better. It was a lot easier to handle.
Well, you got 16 hits and you got contributions. I mean, and we'll talk about Brenda George here. Well, we'll talk about it right now. I mean, 3 for 4 in Game 1, 4 for 5 in in Game 2. I mean, she just had a phenomenal 3-game series for you.
Yeah, and it was great to see her bust out because we expect her to do that, and she's been a force here for our offense for the past 4 years. 3 while I've been here. She's fast. She puts pressure on the defense. She had been up to this point getting on base quite a bit, but not really hitting well. She was getting on by walk, by error, whatever way she could get on. It was happening, so it was working out well for us. But to see her break out and have a better offensive with their own bat in her own hand and take care of that was nice to see because she immediately sets the tone from the first pitch. So to have her on base even more than she was before it can be a challenge for the opposing defense.
Well, you also got the long ball in this one. Tiffany Brown did a couple of home runs, and help me out with Kylie's last name.
Guthier.
Okay, I was close.
Yeah.
I should know that. Now I do, but nice to see her have an opportunity. 3 for 3 RBI, scored a couple of runs for you.
Yeah, she's been kind of struggling a little bit, and she's a freshman, so we know we recruited her, know she's going to be a big part of the offense for the next 3.5 years. So we expect her to do great things, and we're just trying to find her place, and she really came out that game. And it's nice because having Tiffany Brown, Tiffany's a senior, everybody knows her at this point. So eventually, when we get into the conference play, I can't imagine teams are going to pitch to her as much as we've seen so far. So having somebody behind her, whether it's Kylie Guthier or Nicole Neese, is hitting the ball really well. Both freshmen, which is great to see from our young kids. But we hit the ball well in that second game, the first time against Sioux Falls. A lot of hard hit balls, good timing. We've been struggling a little bit to get the big hit at the right time. Over the course of the 13-game season, we've been getting a lot of base runners on, but not always getting the big hit when we needed it. So this game, it seemed like everything came together, and we just started clicking. And yeah, to have 16 hits and 14 runs, that makes the coach's job a lot easier, a little less stressful in the dugout.
So what did you tell your pitcher, Haley Sills? Just throw strikes?
Yeah, get outs.
Throw it over the middle. Let them hit it.
Yeah, well, if I said that, my pitching coach would come in here and take the phone out of my hand. But we told her, just keep hitting your spots and doing your thing, and she kept them really off balance. It was nice to see because Haley hasn't had the outings that we've anticipated her having up to this point. So this was a big step for her because she's got the ability to keep an offense completely off balance and just disrupt their entire flow. So for her to come out with not as big of a lead at the beginning, 1, 2, 3-run lead, and just shut them out despite the fact that it was a relatively close game at the beginning, and just stick to her process. It was great to see. I think it's going to help get her in a rhythm.
We were earlier talking about Grove and how well she pitched. The first game did give up 5 runs, but came back against Sioux Falls and it was outstanding. 7 innings, 1 run. In walking about a couple of hits there, 4 walks, I guess, and 4 strikeouts. But she was very good for you, and you got 2 in the first again, like you were talking about, and got 2 more in the fifth, and grabbed an early lead. And pretty solid win, I think, against Sioux Falls again on Saturday, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. We knew coming back that we were going to see their ace at that point, and that was probably the best pitcher we've seen up to this point this season. She had quite a bit of movement, struck us out 12 times, and we knew. Our coaching staff, we sat down and talked about it based on what the pitcher had done in her career, that she strikes out a lot, but she also gets hit hard. So we knew that we were just going to have to be patient and trust our process and not let, everybody strikes out. We don't like it, of course, but we knew it was going to happen, and we were going to have to be resilient and bounce back. So to see that high number of strikeouts, not super encouraging from us, but the fact that we stuck to our process and stayed the course and were able to get some big hits and score first, that always feels good. But yeah, it helps Sam see that the offense is doing our job to hit a tough pitcher, and then she came out and was just lights out. Only gave up 2 hits, 1 run. She was tough to hit. She looked sharp. It was really nice to see.
Are you still trying to get some players into the game to get some experience, maybe some of the younger players that have come into the program that just need to get that experience? Are you still at that point in the season where you need to do that?
Yeah, we're switching around a little bit, not a whole lot. We're trying to find a rhythm and be consistent. I think we've found a little bit of that after this weekend, going 3-0. But we've tried to get a few people in, get some at bats. We've mixed the defense up a little bit, just to try to get that experience, maybe get the nerves out, because we see all of our 20 kids being big impact players for our program, because nobody's more important than the other, and we need every single one of us to be successful. So to try to grab people at bats here and there and get in and run a little bit and just see the live game has been a challenge at times in close games, because you want to make sure we get the win, but we also want to prove and get kids in that are going to work in the long run for our program. So we've had a few opportunities. I think as we get going here in the next 2 weeks before we start conference, we'll try to do that a little bit more, so that when we do start conference, we're ready to go and everybody's got a little bit of experience and a little confidence going into our conference.
Well, this is the term scheduled this weekend, and maybe you need to put TBA, right? To be announced when you're actually going to play or try to play against Missouri Southern.
Right.
And Joplin, you're scheduled on Saturday, but going to have to kind of play it by ear, so to speak.
Yeah, the weather is the constant challenge around here. So we are scheduled tentatively for 2 and 4 Saturday, and the weather, we still have some snow on the ground over here, so we're trying to get that out of the way, and then Friday and Sunday look much nicer in terms of temperature and moisture, so we may be shuffling a little bit. We won't know until we see how much snow melts today, so we're constantly adapting, which is part of our game anyway, so we'll use it, and whatever happens, and we'll be ready to go whenever we get that call.
So you're scheduled to play Missouri Southern in Joplin, and then later on in the year, and early in April, you got one game in Joplin, one game in Pittsburgh. Are these games, if you get them in, are these non-conference games?
Yeah, we will.
Okay.
We'll play on Saturday. It's a doubleheader, and those are non-conference. And then in April on a Wednesday night, we play a doubleheader here, and those ones will count toward the conference. So this year we started it where everybody plays everybody a doubleheader in conference, and then you play an additional doubleheader against your travel partner, since it's a closer trip. So it's an easy way to get 2 more games without having to go too far. So it's good and bad. They're going to see us before it counts, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. But it's always a fun rivalry to play Missouri Southern. Everybody gets amped for that and plays at a different level. So we look forward to that and going down to their place and seeing what we can do.
As we do wrap it up here, 9 and 4. How do you feel about your team 13 games in?
It's for early in the year. I feel pretty good about it. It's the best start we've had for our seniors in their entire career. So we're happy to have that little jump start. We've played some tough teams, so we know that nothing's ever guaranteed. Unfortunately, we know that there's going to be a challenge every day, and once conference starts, anything can happen. So, but right now we're really optimistic. We're really proud of the way the girls are playing. They're sticking to the process, and they're optimistic, and they're doing a good job as a team, which is nice to see this early, and we'll develop further into the season, and we'll get better at a lot of things. But to have kind of a head start, it feels pretty good. I think the kids are pumped about it.
That's Pitt State head coach Elizabeth Economon on this edition of the Pitt State Softball Insider Show. Now, scheduled to play 2 at Missouri Southern this weekend on Saturday. That could change because of the weather and the field conditions. I'm Tom Van Hoy.